Stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media coming to you live from South Africa.
The time is just gone, 14 minutes past 9, and it's time now for us to go across to be joined by Nafisa Saida as we welcome our listeners once again at Salam Media, Al Ansar in Durban, Peter Marisburg, One Nation 88.9 FM. You are tuned into News and Views this morning, and we are going to be talking shortly with Ahmed Seedat, and we're talking about family-owned businesses and also looking at family-owned businesses in the COVID era. Unfortunately, we don't have with us, but we are now looking at talking to Ahmed Seedat, who is the director and so all this COVID-19 era. And last year, I recall an event that was hosted by Back Consulting, talking about family-owned businesses, talking about continuity, talking about succession planning. But dynamics obviously have changed. So we join on the line right now by the director at Vector Consulting, Ahmed Seedat. Ahmed, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Ahmed. Welcome to the show. And Alhamdulillah, good to see that you are looking well. And Alhamdulillah, we trust and hope that you will continue remaining safe, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. I am well, I can't
Yes.
complain. It's good to see you as well. The last time we spoke, I was in the studio and we were sitting across the table.
Yes, certainly. Now, Ahmed, the event that you hosted last year as well with regard to the dynamics surrounding family-owned businesses. And we know that there are still many, many people that are in family-owned businesses, but a lot has changed in the last year or so, particularly with the pandemic, and we've seen lockdown regulations. We've seen many businesses that have been impacted, that have been affected as a result of lockdowns, as a result of regulations. And the key issue here is, again, in terms of sustainability of the business, number one, but also in terms of continuity and addressing some of the challenges that family-owned businesses are facing during this pandemic.
Inshallah, Jazakallah. We are going to have another event similar to the one we had last year around the same time in Johannesburg. But due to the current circumstances, we have postponed it to the latter part of the year. Uh, what we're finding that many families are facing challenges, and the challenges that we are facing is that many of them have got the sudden shock that have come in and where it has left them. And what we found is that there were some initiatives that were taken by some families, but many families are in this predicament where there wasn't any succession planning that has taken place. So all is not lost. What we have done is that in my books, which is called in one of my books, the one that was published last year, which is based on the dynamic of succession in family-owned business, we give you a detailed account of how to handle the shock. And what we're finding is that another aspect which is really affecting family businesses is that family heirs are not qualified to handle businesses. We're finding we have to basically we have to retrain their minds to think that this is a business. This is the culture of the business is totally different. You find the education system presently is something which is having an impact on the sustainability of family businesses. The education system is all based on ticking boxes, all based on their theory, and there's a major culture shift when new entrants come into family businesses. Mainly, we're talking about at successor to the business. And we're finding at those levels, the biggest challenge is the assimilation from a pure theory into practical experience. You find the parents that were there in the business, they have all the experience, and basically based on their experience, they ran their business per se what was best for them. With the kids coming into the business, it's a total culture shock because they've been educated to work in corporate businesses, in businesses that were professionalized. Now, all is not lost for family businesses that still want to start professionalizing the business. There's two aspects to business succession. The first aspect is a successor to your business that is at shareholder level, which is your heirs that are coming in, right? The second aspect of succession in your business is the succession of your management team. What we found is that family businesses that are very successful, they have a they have a well managed management team, a management team that has been given the opportunity to, that is well aligned to the family values, that is accessible by the families, that have been assessed, as well as the families have given opportunities for them to advance their skills. And we find that succession management is something which is continuous. And the key to having a successful business is to have a successful management team, because this management team will look after the interests of the shareholders. And what we found is that in this COVID era, businesses that had a very good management team, the management team were well versed with the businesses. Those businesses are carrying on, albeit not at full steam, but the transition is uh, is taking place. But those businesses that don't have a good management team, you're finding that by the shock, and families are coming into the business based on the loss of the breadwinner or the owner of the business, they're having major challenges. But what we are doing is that we have also created a manual which is called dynamic strategies, and we take family businesses, especially the new entrants, the heirs of these businesses, into a very detailed aspect of understanding the business. Who are the key stakeholders of the business? What's the key activities of the business? Where where is the revenue stream? Who are the customers? What are they selling? Are they selling a service or are they selling a product? We're making him understand the entire value chain. And what we're doing is that we're running this in conjunction with other NGOs that are working in the space to assist families to get back onto their feet again. So the two aspects of succession, one is the management and the other is the business. So when we come back to in the succession thing, we find that when it comes to the business level succession, we have to find purpose for the family in the business. When when these issues are taking place, when these challenges are occurring, we are getting them to understand what's the purpose of the family business. And from the purpose of the family business, we are educating them in their roles. And from their roles, they know what the responsibilities to their family, and we are holding them accountable for their actions. And at the same time, those that are stepping in, we need to reward them justly. And what we found is that I just got a few case studies which I wanted to highlight to you, is that where there was no plan in place and the husband passed away, leaving the wife with minor children to take over the business. This was a major challenge because the first port of call was she called her the family accountant, the person that did the books. Thereafter, it went to the attorney, and when it came to us, in fact, we were contacted by the accountant, and what we did was that we sat down and we put in a system in place for control mechanisms for the wife while she's in that to monitor the business, to get relevant information and things like that. So basically, all is not lost. Don't think that what, if you have lost a breadwinner, if there's issues that who's going to manage your business. What you can do is that it's simple training that's required, and the simple things are basically 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, which we show you and which we advise you, and you know what, you can get your business back into speed again. So all is not lost. On the other hand, we had issues where a husband passed on, and he was married in community of property. And what was happening was that because it was married in community of property, there became many issues, and the destabilizing factor becomes your inner circle, your inner circle of family members who become specialists in advising the widows and the heirs, what's really what they need to do. And many of them, what we found, unfortunately, are there for their own piece of meat, as you say, own bone. They have their own initiative, their own motives. So what we need to do is that we need to educate our people out there that there are solutions. It's not that there's no solutions, and you can control your business from the palm of your hand, provided you put in some systems and some controls in place. The other one, which I wanted to tell you about, is that we had an issue where we had a family. The owner is very proactive, and he was a proactive thinker. And he always thinks, whenever there was whenever there's a challenge, he tried to think in advance how to overcome. And what he has done is that he has worked totally on empowering his management team, and he created a we created a simple dashboard for him so that his wife and kids understood what was happening in the family business, because people are putting in plans, they're putting in places. So these are the things that we need to the places are the initiatives are there, so we need to place emphasis on. But over and above all of this, what I found is that our menfolk out there, they need to educate the kids, they need to educate their wives, and I think they need to educate themselves to a time in financial literacy. Because what has happened is that many of them have been to school either in the 60s, in the 70s, or early 80s, and businesses have evolved extensively. And what we found is that the assimilation of this is very different. What we are doing is that if you educate your children, if you educate your family on the basics of financial literacy, so what they can do is that they can understand personal financial management. In my book, Profits, Progeny, Politics, I use some simple examples. One of the examples that I used there was called the 50 Rand concept. Uh, what you can do is that you can give your child or your spouse an amount of money, educate them, tell them how to spend this money. If they can spend this money within a second, now you can spend it with a click or shopping online. But how long will it take them to earn that amount of money that you've given them? And once they start realizing the importance and the value of the money and how you earn money, you don't earn money by clicking your fingers. You earn money through effort. And if families make if patriarchs, if head of families make their families understand the importance and value of money, inshallah, we'll find that people will become more financial literate. And what they'll do is that they'll manage their money much more better. And that money management is becoming a major issue at the moment. And if they're able to budget, and we found that many widows, immediately when they had this impact, they didn't know how to manage their money, and it became a major challenge. So, my earnest appeal out to Salam Media as well, whether they can have a program on financial literacy just to educate our mothers and sisters out there on the basics of how to handle money, which is very important. Because once they understand how to handle this money, they'll be less vulnerable to financial fraud. Because the moment the person passes away while the estate is being wound out, the vultures out there, they come to know that there's money in this estate, this widow is vulnerable, the people are vulnerable. They go with schemes, and they defraud our mothers and sisters. This is the sad part of it. So what we need to do is that we need to assist our mothers to understand that, listen, this is what you need to do with your money, how you manage your money, so they don't fall prey to these fraudsters. And also, a strong financial literacy, the foundation, can help them to achieve various life goals. They'll be able to make mehnat of the money, and you know what? They'll be able to handle the money much more responsibly. And we found that the side effect of financial literacy, everything has a side effect. Every medication has a side effect. So financial literacy, the side effect of financial literacy is all about wealth creation. And attaining wealth, you have this wealth creation, you start creating this pot from your inheritance, and you find you become financially free. And the next time when you have an issue, when you know there's a pot out there that you don't have to worry about paying that bill, and you'll be able to handle your money. And we find that once you become financial free, you have enough savings. You'll be able to make investments, and you'll be able to do the things that will give you purpose and make you much more responsible, intent. And you'll be content with what you have. And in essence, when we look at this entire succession thing, when families are faced with these issues, we come back to the following thing. I just want to reiterate this, that all is not lost if you are hit with the pandemic. If you lost a breadwinner and you want to know how to get back into your business, we have a simple program where we assist families to understand who are the who are the key stakeholders in a business, what what you really sell in your business, how you get the product into your business, who to contact, uh, what is your right GPs, managing, putting a proper budget in place,
Mm-hmm.
as well as assisting them in controlling the expenses, which is very important, and also the revenue stream. And what we found was that we had an issue where a widow, an elderly widow, that inherited some property with her kids, and we found that all of a sudden she was faced with unforeseen bills. And these unforeseen bills, when she said that, at all this, we never, my husband, he never told me about these bills. And when we started investigating further, we found that those around him, as I said earlier on, they come with their own motives, own intentions, and just advising her, or they start putting their own bills to the accountants, to the to the person paying the bills in the company. So we need to protect our mothers and sisters from these people who have these ulterior motives.
Well, Ahmed, you've said so much, and there's so much food for thought in terms of what you said and all the practical examples that you mentioned. And this is a sign of the times. This is reality. This is the times that we are living in. And people are going to be confronted with all these situations, with all these scenarios. And at the end of the day, for the sake of continuity, for the sake of making people's lives, a bit easier, and at the same time, giving them hope and telling them that, listen, all is not lost. And this is the type of support that people need in these times. And, I wish you and I would have a lot more time to basically talk about, but I'm sure over the next few weeks, possibly, we'll be looking or focusing on certain specific issues in various topics that we can possibly discuss. And, if obviously anybody needs to get in touch with you, what do they do?
Inshallah, I have a WhatsApp support group for family business owners that require support in matters like this. There are other business people there as well. Uh, you can send a WhatsApp to me and I'll add you onto that group. It's a family business support group because many family businesses are facing those issues. My number is 082 Alternatively, you can send me a WhatsApp or you can contact me on Telegram. And what we'll do is that we'll give you the tools. And also, uh, I have offices in Johannesburg, and I have people on the ground in Johannesburg as well that are looking forward to, and that are also assisting family businesses in Johannesburg. So we are we are, there's a team of us that are working together on this particular program to assist those that are having these challenges during the time.
Well, Ahmed, Jazakallah for that and for your time with us. And I just want to repeat, it's 082-676-1994. So
Yes.
that is the WhatsApp line that, obviously you are setting up. And for anybody wanting to get in touch with you. And, if I say, if you can help anybody at a time like this, at a time of uncertainty, when people are in a state of worry and in a state of great concern, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. This is the type of support that people need in these times and ages. But as always, Ahmed, Allah accept, Allah reward your efforts. Jazakallah for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair.
Ahmed